nice to meet you. Thank you for doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sending over the music. I've loved the album. So
Wow.
it's a joy to be able to talk to you today.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So where exactly are you located?
I'm in Taipei, Taiwan.
Okay, excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Um, so I actually just interviewed somebody in Taiwan yesterday. Um,
Wow, wow. It's Debbie or Yuhan.
what's that?
It's Debbie, right? Who's you?
Her name was Debbie Wang.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Wow. How did you know her?
She reached out to the show. She reached out, found out about me. A friend of hers in Italy had recommended the show, so she reached out and we talked yesterday.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I got the Taiwan connection right now.
I know, right? And
Yeah.
Yuhan also.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it's great to meet you. So I want to begin our conversation before we get into the suite.
Okay.
Um, we're coming up on the 4-year anniversary of COVID.
Okay.
How did you get through the pandemic and how did it change you?
I think in Taiwan, maybe it's a little bit different from the rest of the world because in Taiwan, in the beginning, we're doing pretty good. So we only like really close now, not not that long, maybe like few months. So even over that time, as a musician, we still do a lot of things online. So I did a lot of like film project. It's,
Yeah.
it's yeah, and actually I did a small documentary about jazz.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I interviewed like Cecil Maybe, my teacher, my mentor, and Cecil Maybe, Lauren Chambert, the director of the Holland Museum, Jazz Museum, and Jerome Jennings, the drummer, and the other poets, no Naomi, yeah. We just talk about jazz, how jazz, evolved over the years.
So is it out now, the film?
We had a screening with the New Orleans Jazz Museum few 2 years ago.
Okay.
But it's not really like a published. But I can send it to you if you're interested. Yeah.
I'd love to. I'd love to see it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to have an album out now with the world kind of waking up, live shows happening? How does this album feel?
Whew, wow. Of course, for me, it's very exciting because the reason why I have this album is actually it's because is COVID. I applied for a grant. Because the well in the Kaohsiung Performing Arts Center, right in the beginning of the COVID, they have have a project for musician for artists to apply. So I applied. Then I make it. I was really um happy about that. So I have a chance to really write out the whole music.
So what are you hoping the listener gets from this album? Or actually, before we get to that part, how did you kind of put this album together? What was the vision?
hmm The vision is because uh Mississippi River for me is very kind of special because uh, I went to New York in 2002. So I learned everything I know about jazz, about bass in New York. Cecil Maybe was my first teacher. He brought me to buy my first bass.
Wow.
So after a few years, then I went down south to New Orleans. Then I visit several times. I just found out, wow, Mississippi River is very musical.
Yeah.
And I realized how New Orleans musicians they swing so much because
Yeah.
the whole steamboat, whole river is so swinging.
Yeah.
So and Love River is a river where I grew up with. So I want to combine because the river, in a way, is very spiritual.
Yeah.
People live by the river. We also they feel they give us a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So the whole music actually is a lot of appreciation also because it's not easy to express through music and had a chance to play my instrument to meet all those people. So it's kind of sum up all those years, what I have in my mind. I want to write for a larger ensemble. Even when I write for the small ensemble, the sound still like in my mind still like very big.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like my first time to write for bigger larger ensemble, then combine the story of Love River and Mississippi River.
Well, the thing that I got from it is there's a melding of the classical and the jazz world, and you can feel the movement. Now that you explained it, there is that movement with the river. Anytime you see a river, it's just action. There's always something. There could be a little whirlpools, but there's always forward motion. There's might be a stick that comes down, but there's always something that's kind of a part of the flow.
Yeah, right. And the Mississippi River very special is, they have cotton field, New Orleans, Southern. I went to the presentation. I was shocked actually. When I first go to the presentation, I was shocked. The way the condition, even now, look back, I just couldn't imagine how they have to work every day. That's why I wrote the first tune, Cotton Field, is for them, It's hard for them to work on the cotton field, just to work, it's tough.
Yeah, for sure. So what are you hoping the listener gets from this album?
Wow. So I hope, because it's a live album, so I hope the listener can feel each musician's contribution, everybody. So, because in this part of world, in Taiwan, there are not too many kind of this kind of ensemble.
Yeah.
So all those musicians, they are all my great friends, and they are all very experienced professional musicians. They come from like a lot. They study in Europe. Some of them come from Europe, and one of my pianists come from Argentina. So it's kind of mixed culture. I hope the audience can feel our love toward music. Also, my musical background, Cecil maybe was my first teacher, but my Afro-Cuban background is kind of getting pretty strong, because I met John Amendola. He's a timbales player. And I met Victor Venegas. He's a bass player with the Mongo Santa Maria. And later I met Andy Gonzalez, the Four Apache Band, and Jerry Gonzalez. They become my mentors. So all those influences, I just want to express it, and in a very humble way, because their impact on me is so huge.
Yeah. The beauty, I think, of jazz is you're in Taiwan. A lot of the jazz beginnings happened here in America, and it's just spread all over the world. So I'm
like a river.
curious. Yeah, exactly. So I'm curious, how did you pick up your instrument, and how did you get involved with jazz? How did this start for you?
Yeah. Wow. It's like more than 20 years ago. I met Cecil maybe
Yeah.
when I was in army, because in Taiwan, every man has to go to army.
Okay.
Well, I just finished my college, then I'm doing my like 2 years army thing. I met Cecil maybe in Kaohsiung. That's the city where I recorded the album.
Yeah.
I met him. He played with a Japanese piano player. And I just met him in the backstage, At that time, I have no idea who he was, but I just asked him like a few questions. I asked him, "Do you know about New School?" He said, "Of course I know. I have been teaching there for 18 years." Then the second about Charles Lloyd. He said, "Of course I know." He played with Charles Lloyd in '60s. Then I have no idea at that time. Caesar was the bassist with Charles Lloyd. At that time, I was listening to Charles Lloyd.
Yeah.
So right away we click. I have no idea. Then he just gave me his phone number and address. Then I started writing to him later, not like right now, it's like more than 20 years ago. Then he wrote me back, So right after I finished my army, I fly to New York. Then, I find him. Then I play my bass, with the bass here.
Yeah. Right on. That's a wonderful.
Yeah.
So you came over to America, you were in New York. Talk about, was that always kind of a dream for you to come to America and play?
Yes. Every day, even still right now, I can play. It's a dream every day. Because so after him, I met a lot of people. John Paitucci was my college professor. I studied at City College, so I was in his studio for 2 years. And John Schaefer was my classical teacher. He was a principal bass in New York for Harmonic. So all those peoples. I'm living a dream. I'm a beginner. Like my classical teacher, John Schaefer, he said he never had a beginner the students. I'm the first. I'm the first beginner students. So the journey is quite incredible. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you like the best about being a professional musician? What gets you up out of bed every day? What drives you to be the musician you are?
Wow, all those mentors, oh, because music's so vast. Even right now, I still practicing. I sight singing.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still doing all those things. All those teacher, because like Cecil maybe the first lesson he gave me, he told me, Vincent, when you come to my house, when you study with me, listen to me. But when you leave my house, do the opposite way. That's
Yeah.
my first lesson. I don't even know how to play half position. Then he
Yeah.
told me to do the opposite way. Then I
Wow.
found out, wow, that's the lesson for all my life,
Yeah.
eternal lesson. He's a philosopher. He's incredible. And my classical teacher, my Latin-based teacher, they are so much. Um, yeah, talking about them, I'll get really emotional because a lot like Victor was already passed, and Mr. Schaefer he already passed. But all their passion about music, their sacrifice, this is incredible. So every day I just humbly it's like going to a temple, going to a church. When I wake up, I I realize I have to do something. It's very difficult for me. It's not an easier thing.
Yeah.
Uh, John Schaefer told me music, it won't get any easier. It only get difficult and difficult. It won't be any easier for us as a musician. Yeah.
Yeah. So, when you got to New York, what was the place that you wanted to go see a show at? And what was like a show you remember in the beginning?
The first show I saw is wow, this is amazing. Is Charlie Hayden and Kenny Barron at Blue
Wow.
Note.
Wow.
Yeah, but I still have jet lag, unfortunately. But of course, I try to focus. Of course, it's incredible. The first night when I get off the plane, 2002, is at Blue Note. It's a dream come true. Yeah.
Wow. That's wild. So, why do you love jazz?
Why? I think after 20 years, I would say because of the journey. The music allowed me to meet all those people. And in recent years, I go to Europe a lot, go to Spain, different countries. I met all those Cuban musicians. It really expand my view, my world. I get to know because in New York, we always think like, wow, New York, everything is about New York, like. But when I kind of see the music in a different country in different way, I see how Cuban people see their music. I see how they learn, how they, it's really different. New York has very unique view, but when I go to Cuba, I met some people and I found out about Yoruba, I found out about Bata, and the way they respect, they learn their music is really different. Yeah, it's almost like a very spiritual thing. It's
Yeah.
not just music. Yeah,
So, now that you have the album out, live shows are happening. What's going on with you with live music, traveling? How's that unfolding this year?
yeah. Right now, because last year we did a lot like big concerts. So this year we kind of try to take a breath a little bit. We try to take our time to promote, to share the news about all the information about the album. And slowly, actually, I'm planning a tour in the States in the end of the year. Right now, I'm planning on that. So hopefully, I can play live
Yeah.
for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, final question. Everyone out there has an idea of who they think you are, your family, your friends, your fans, but you ultimately are in control. You're the one living your life. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Wow. Wow. I never have had this question. I think I'm just just try. I'm just a guy try to learn this music and humbly, like just try to learn as much as I can, and try to improve every day. Try to write, try to learn, and that's it. Just very simple guy. Just love music. Yeah.
Yeah. So Vincent, if anyone wants to pick up the album, where's the best place to go to get it?
Oh, wow. Go to Bandcamp.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
Right
get a
on.
physical copy. That'll be great. Would be appreciated. Really get a physical copy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I urge everyone to run out and get it. It's a wonderful album. Again, thank you for sending it, for reaching out to the show. Best of luck. Have a great tour at the end of the year,
Wow.
man.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you. And